Hi guys, I've had comments ever since I've started doing videos for YouTube about the action figures and toys and the stuff that's seen in the background when I'm sitting in this room, talking to you guys. And I have a bunch of people that, are Halloween fans and video game fans, and some that are, rock music fans that pay attention to my, touring vlogs with Korn. And I kind of noticed that there are quite a few people that just, comment or interested in the action figures and the toys in the background, because you might not collect what I collect in that sense, but there's a lot of people that do collect, G.I. Joes or Star Wars, or they used to, or have them in storage. So, they can relate. So I figured I would take some time and just show some of my favorite, sections in this room and some of my favorite, figurines to collect, and why they're still in packages and those kind of things. So bear with me, I'm going to turn the camera around, and the lighting in this room is not that great in all areas for videotaping. For recording. So anyways, we'll start in Resident Evil territory. I mentioned before in many vlogs that Resident Evil is one of my favorite video game series. I'm not that big of a fan of the movies. They're okay, but I don't collect any of the action figures or anything like that from the movies. Everything I have is just from the video games. I probably started collecting the figurines maybe 10 years ago, and I got most of them through eBay and through conventions, but a couple series, the ones from Resident Evil 4 and the few from Resident Evil 5, they did come from like FYE, like Music Store, and Spencer's Gifts. But yeah, most of them did come from eBay, and I don't have, they've gotten so ridiculously high in price for some of the harder ones to find that I just refuse to pay $100 plus, $200 plus for a figurine like that. I'll pay it for like a really nicely made statue out of resin or something, but I just can't do it. Maybe one day if I if I cave in or find a good deal or something like that, hopefully I can get those. But the Resident Evil, basically they kind of came out in multiple different size forms, as you can tell. Like the earlier ones for the first couple games were more like G.I. Joe size. They're pretty small. You can see it compared to my hand. They all had some type of like special action to them. Like you could hit a little button. They all say includes authentic video game action. You hit a little button, their arms would move, or some of them, like maybe the zombie's head would pop off. The arms rip off. And basically the second size series, they transformed over to a little bit more of, actually, there's one down there too, these full-size figurines. When I say full-size, I guess I'm more of meaning what you'd think in like an action figure. Like if you were going to have like Street Fighters or Street Fighter figurines, or most video game figurines are this size now. And there's really not much else to point out in the blistered, or the clamshell pack. That's what these are called, is clamshells. I keep everything sealed that you can see all the parts and you can see the whole scene or whatever's going on in there. Mainly because, yes, it does, keep value and keep them in nice condition, but a lot of them have small parts. Where's it good? Like these, for instance. I mean, all these little grenades and stuff, you can clearly see what they are just by looking in the package. There's really no need to open the package, sit them out, and then lay them on, the top of a countertop, so they're just gonna fall or get lost. So that's one of the main reasons why I keep those sealed. If it's a figurine or a statue that you can't see, just by hanging it on the wall looking at it, then I actually do open them up. I'll keep the box, but I'll display them. That's what the glass cases and stuff are for, back in the dark sections of the room. But let's see. Oh, these ones that I pointed out for briefly are more like little dioramas, and they're actually little battle scenes. And these are actually my favorite ones, just because they display like a piece of the story. Like these all are scenes basically from the games, actually from Resident Evil 1. And let's see. I want to keep this kind of short. I don't want to spend too much time poking around. And let's see. Final Fantasy is definitely the series or the game that I have the most figurines for. They the company that makes them now, Square Enix didn't used to always produce their figurines. Back then they were actually called Squaresoft, and they had a company called Bandai making a lot of their action figures, which are like the Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. They made the figurines for them. Square then took over and started making their own, and they came up with like Square Arts, and that was their brand for all their figurines. They used these size ones right here. When they were coming out, I believe I paid for most of them anywhere around $25, $30. A couple of them maybe a little bit more than that. But then Square Enix started taking over making figurines for multiple different series of games, and I believe now they even make figurines for not even video games. But they've jumped up in price ridiculously. Like, say, these two over here, they're for a game called Bayonetta, and these, they changed the prices from the $25, $30 range to now it's like $50 is basically the average price for the figurines. They're not that much bigger. They're about the same size. They're about the same amount of detail. Some of them come with a few little more items, but for the most part, it just sucks because there's a lot of the Square Enix, the Square Arts figurines that I would like to buy for different games, but they're just too much. They actually started making some of the Resident Evil ones, and I passed up on buying them because they were $50 or $55, for each of them, and they didn't just seem worth it. So that kind of sucks. But I think for now that'll be it. I just want to give a little insight into the collecting of why I keep them in packages and why I display them like I do. Let me know if I've got a few people who said that they had some Star Wars. It's all packed away. They like to display it. Let me know what your plans are for displaying them when you get a room or you get a chance to put them out in a case or something like that. And people that take them out and put them in little scenes and like that, why would you rather do that than keep them in display boxes like I do? Just wondering, just to create conversation, and I guess that's about it. So no more rambling. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.